Hi, David. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us. How is life treating you at the moment?
With everything going on with the COVID, it's okay. I'm spending a lot more time with my family at home and keeping everybody safe and doing the right thing. And it hasn't been too bad for us, thank God.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the elephant in the room. We can't start an interview off at the moment without that being the topic of opening any conversation.
Yeah.
How has it kind of affected your day-to-day life?
You know what? It's fortunately it's been okay. Like I haven't had too many issues, but I find myself I'm the guy who has to go do the groceries now. My wife stays home with the kids and she sends me out there.
Okay, okay. How young are your children?
I'm sorry.
How young are your children?
How there my daughter is just turned 20. She is in her second year of university to become a nurse practitioner, and my son is 60 just turned 17, and he travels all over the place. He's a footballer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When you say football, do you mean American football or soccer?
Well, I was born in London, England, so I mean football, soccer.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it is an interesting time, not just like in the world, but also for you and your band, Sven Gali, returning with a brand new EP. Now, obviously, like many bands and artists have been kind of delaying their releases because of this. Did that thought ever kind of cross your mind?
You know what? Not really. It didn't because today with media the way it is and how you can hear music, right away. We thought we'd just throw it out there and see what happens.
Was
We
your
never
first
thought about
non-single
anything.
release since, what, 1995? You must be pretty stoked to get three out into the world at this stage.
Well, it all happened by accident, and it just ended up one afternoon. Dan, the drummer, called me and said, asked me if I wanted to, come over at his place, and he had a few guys over. They're going to jam a little bit, and when we went over, I don't know, just something happened at that practice, at that rehearsal or jam, and when I left, Dan called me the next day and. I said, yeah, I felt really good, and what we started creating was feeling really good. And I haven't been around music for quite a while prior to that, so we just took it day by day, had no expectations on each other, and we do it for fun. And it was about the music and no pressure, just put out what we want to do, and that was the attitude.
That's fantastic to hear. Very, very natural sounding.
Yes, exactly.
Well, yeah, so you got four tracks, two previous singles from 2018 and 2019, and then two new tracks, Now and Hurt, right?
Yes.
Cool. I
Yeah.
was just listening to them before we went online. Bloody great. How do you feel about them, especially in regards, I think, to Hurt, which, as I understand it, is actually an unreleased song from the early 90s?
Yeah, Hurt. Actually, we played Hurt in when we toured Europe back in the day. That's when that song came out. We wrote it on the road, and it never got released, and it was kind of pushed to the side. But it was always a good live song, a lot of energy and heavy. And so it just came up in conversation. We were going to write something brand new but then the guy said, well, let's do Hurt. Finally, get Hurt on down. So we did that.
What I thought was fascinating is I found out afterwards because I'm listening to it, and what's exciting about, well, all the music on the EP is none of it sounds dated. It doesn't sound like it's come from a band who released their debut back in 1992. And I would never have known that Hurt was an unreleased song if I
Oh,
didn't look
great.
into it afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And that was our only concern recording that song. Um, Yeah, and it's neat. I think that although that we were out of music for a while, we've always stayed in music, and we're music lovers to heart. Like we love music, and my family, my kids. I there's music playing in every room in my house all day long, every day, and they keep me in tune with what's new and what's happening. And the same with Dan and Andy. We're all just big music fans, and we always stayed. We always looked at it from afar for a few years.
So, yeah, as you said, you like to kind of keep your finger on the pulse. Is it everything and everything, or do you have specific areas you like to look at?
Oh, I listen to absolutely everything. My kids love hip hop. Like my son introduces me to so many young hip hop and rap guys, and my daughter. And I love everything. I love opera. I love just music, like all music. And it's funny because we're all the same that way. We drive into gigs. We could be listening to an orchestra. Who knows? You know what I mean? That's the way we are. We're just music lovers.
So how much of that would you say now kind of affects your thought process when it came to, say, when you were jamming and you're writing, do you think?
How does it affect me? I think it affects it because I'm very open to any type of melody. I'm open to different progressions or adding keyboards or whatever it could be. If who knows what the next few songs are going to be like with us, because we're just open to everything. We're not going to pigeon ourselves to guitar, bass, and drums. And we want everything to have we want to listen. You want people to listen.
Do you think that's something that's come with age and time and experience?
You know what? I think you nailed it on the head, because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
When we were younger in 92, 90, and we were working on our first record, and we were going on the tour with Def Leppard, and we had all these big bands that we were around. We recorded our second record, and we had Blind Melon play on it. It was I think for guys, we were younger, and there's always a sense of pressure when you're putting out your first album, and second, you got to produce. And over time and experience and all of our travels and everything that we've gone through and everywhere we lived, we're very comfortable with who we are as people. I'm very open to my shortcomings, and then I lean on the guys for help during those times, and as they do to me. So ego in Sven Gali is right out the door. We're very content in our lives, with our relationships, our lives, and this is just a release and a great time to get together and make music with I feel is a great band. I think the guys are great players, and they can really bring it today still.
That's awesome. So as well, did it ever kind of cross your mind, I guess, at the back of it, that you could have very easily put out something that sounded exactly how you did in the mid 90s, early 90s, yet this sounds fresh and modern?
Yeah, you know what? I think when bands take a long break and they come back, when they take a long break, I find that they come back and they're I'm not going to say a band, but sometimes they come back and it's a lighter feeling than what you remembered of them was when back in the day. Or but with us, we wanted to just come back, and if it's going to be Sven Gali, then it's going to be Sven Gali, and it's we weren't gonna. I mean, we have many opportunities to go a lighter side, if you will. There's a lot of material. We have albums worth of music that's not released. Wow. And some of it's very, very good, and we will get there to that music one day. And it's a lighter side, but we got to find how it. We've got to find how it's going to marry into who we are now in Sven Gali.
Well, that makes sense, because you only have to go on your social media and read the comments to kind of see your damn fan base is really hungry for this. Are you surprised they've stuck with you?
Well, if you'd could see, like, when we started playing music, before we got signed, we toured back and forth across Canada at least 10, 11 times. We played every hole there was to play, and we must have played over 300 shows a year. Like, we're just constantly out there getting our chops down, doing what we did, meeting people and playing, and making a lot of friends everywhere we went. And I think more of what I'm hearing, like when I'm getting personal emails from fans that are just finding out about 3, is that they missed, and they were disappointed when we just let it go after the D passed away and all that stuff happened back to with the band, and they were upset. And now that we're back, they have just all these memories of the times and the clubs when they seen us and things that happened. So it's been good.
So you're kind of getting that mix of nostalgia high, but with the excitement of new.
Yeah, something fresh. And I think there was a lot of people that probably thought, oh my, I mean, how can they live up to that energy in now? You know what I mean? And that was one of our focuses, that we were going to bring that.
It's interesting because there's always something. Without trying to make you feel old, it's hard for me to massively relate. Your debut album was 1992. I was 8 years old.
Yeah. I know. And that's what's funny about that. Even my son and his friends, like they're listening to the albums back then, and they're listening to and they're going, "Wow, I can't believe!" And then they hear the music today, and it's funny. It's good. I'm happy where we are right now.
Well, that's one of the things I'm really getting from just speaking to you is. One of the questions I was going to ask about was about proficiency and stuff like that. But actually, hearing the way you spoke already, I don't think it's as important, as clearly it all comes from being content in your lives, and music will come, Sven Gali will come when you feel comfortable, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how we I've learned over my years not to rush or push something. It will come. Yeah. Not to force something. As I tell my kids and my daughter's endeavors to become a nurse practitioner, I tell her, just take your time, take one day at a time, knock it out each day, knock it out, and at the end of the day, reflect on the day. Did you do the best you could that day? And my son the same. I just tried to instill that in him, because a lot of people let time just fly by and nothing's accomplished, or there's and we're just trying to, when we're together as a band in Sven Gali, when we're writing, when we leave the rehearsal hall or a show, we feel good about what we did. We don't do anything half-ass,
Okay, yeah. If you're coming away satisfied, regardless of guess what you put in, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
So, talking of the fact that effectively you got your start in 1992 and you've been through the ever-changing world of the music scene, how easy do you find it to kind of keep your music and Sven Gali relevant in the modern world of streaming and social media and that instant gratification that basically everybody wants?
Yeah, that's the challenge. Social media has become a full-time job for Dan and our band. That's his gig. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we realize, you see it, and if you're not involved in it, especially trying to get your music out, then nobody's going to hear anything. So we have Dan full-time on social media, and he's just making sure that we're out there, and he's good at that. Yeah,
because if you're not, 5 minutes later, you're off the post, forgotten about.
Yeah, that's right. And and we have, our relationship with RFL has been great out of the gate, and all the guys. So yeah, it's you need a good team, and you need support around you to make anything happen. But the only thing that we ask of people is, if you believe it and you like it, we appreciate it, the push. And if you don't, we understand too. It's not for everybody.
Of course. So have basically, aside from the build towards the EP release, all your plans been put on hold for now?
Yeah, we had some pretty good shows that are, well, a couple of them have passed now that we couldn't attend. And there was a big festival June 20th that's been canceled. But you know what? If we can get things rolling in the fall, then that'd be great. I don't know how it's going to all translate. I mean, Andy from Sven Gali lives in Beijing, and so they've been going through this for 3 months. So there's a lot of questions for how's all this going down in the future with live shows, and who knows. We're trying to still get sports back.
Yeah, I completely get it. It's no different over here. everything's off really until hopefully, and it's all very conservatively being booked for the later part of the year, your November, December times. And even then, it doesn't feel like that's that realistic.
No, I think honestly, I think the only time everything's going to get back to normal is when the vaccine is out. Or I think this, I don't know. You're hearing a lot. I don't know what you're hearing over there at home, but here, everybody's concerned about it raising its head again in our worst time in the fall. For colds and flus and stuff like.
Yeah, flu season.
Yeah. So that's what we're all worried about again. And I don't know how. I mean, if we don't do it right, and if we don't do it right this first time, with the hit the economy's taking around the world, then going at it again is just going to be devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Finally, then, simple and short. Do you feel this is a reborn and a re-energized Sven Gali?
I think that. I think that there is a total new energy. We brought in 2 new players in Dan and Sean from Varga. So yeah, we're Sven Gali. Yeah, there's a lot of elements, and the core guys of Sven Gali are still together. But I think we're a new Sven Gali.
Yeah,
it's a new band.
Yeah.
So that's how that's how we feel about it. There's that of the past, and we all have a history, and the band's just called Sven Gali. And but I think that we feel like a new band.
I get that. I completely understand that. It almost seems to me like this is what we did, and this is who we are. But this is what we are, and this is where we're going.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell people who've asked me the same question. Who were you as a person when you were, 15 or 20, 25, there's changes that happen along the way, right?
Well, yeah, you would hope that at least you grow somewhat and learn some lessons along the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?